A $150 million bayfront development project was unveiled today by Scott Enterprises. It will be built largely on the vacant land between State Street and the Erie Maritime Museum. It will feature a list of amenities, including 2 hotels, a restaurant, retail shopping, office space, townhomes, an outdoor ice skating rink. The list just goes on. And as was noted at today's announcement, Scott Enterprises is thinking big, not just functional. The man behind the vision, Nick Scott Sr., president of Scott Enterprises, joining us tonight. Nick, thank you so much for joining us and braving the weather, first of all.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's an exciting day for us, and we're very happy to be here.
It is so exciting, and the renderings are just absolutely magnificent. You've owned this bayfront property for 15 years, so I'm sure you've had a lot of time to think about what to do. Why is now, though, the time to develop?
Well, I think things have ripened up, and they've really gotten to the point where GE has been a busy place, even though they've had some layoffs recently. They've grown in recent years. We have Gannon, who's spreading into the community. Erie Insurance has done a great job of improving the neighborhood and expanding. And so between all of these things that are happening, there's just a lot of excitement going on, and so we're looking forward to that.
And everyone who has looked at these renderings and the pictures and the animation, the same reaction is, wow. It really is a game changer for the community. What do you mean by that, besides the obvious?
Well, it's a game changer because it's a sense of place where you're going to have, where people can live, work, and play, where there'll be condominiums and apartments, and there'll be recreation, and there'll be a couple hotels and restaurants and retail and office space. So it's all combined together and harmoniously with a great job of design by Weber Murphy Fox Architects. And we worked with them about 8 months on this and had many, many changes. But what we've come up with now is very pleasing to all that we've spoken to.
It is really impressive. You are applying, though, for the state quiz, which we talked about earlier in the newscast. Why is that so important to getting this project finished?
Well, that's the other reason that timing is so important. The Community Investment Act for cities has just come out in the state. The first one was in Allentown. It was called the NIZ, but now they've got this thing called the CRIZ. So there's 8 cities that are available to vie for it, and it's very, very important for this project. It'll make the project happen sooner. It'll make the project happen more in a bigger, great scale way, and it's really important that somehow Erie gets the CRIZ, so we're going to lobby for it very hard.
Well, and you know, it's important to point out, too, this is private money going into this project.
Yeah, there's private money. There's a lot of sources of funding. We're going to need the cooperation of the authorities in Erie, the parking authority. There's going to be a need. Hammett Hospital, we plan to have a connection to Hammett, and I think it's going to really improve the status of living downtown, working, and playing.
And Nick, quickly too, we've heard about plans before in that area. When are we going to start seeing something happen there?
Well, some of it will depend on when the CRIZ actually comes through, because you can't start something and then get the CRIZ. You have to get the CRIZ first and then start the building and so forth. So whether it's going to happen in the next couple months or we're going to have to wait a year, but we're going to start planning and making architectural plans and so forth, and we're going to do this whether we get the CRIZ or don't get the CRIZ, but the scale of it will be much larger and much better if we do get the CRIZ.
Well, if it looks half as nice as it does in the rendering, then Erie, I think, is going to be very lucky for this. Nick Scott, thank you so much for coming in, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Up next, all about an international effort to end poverty. Stay with us.